Welcome to CHASEN this evening. I think this will be a very informative meeting. We're going to find out how to maintain your plants and also how to get rid of them quickly. Right, Armando?
Yes.
Okay. At least 5 feet, 6 feet up the trees? Okay.
Yeah.
Who's attending for the first time this evening? Do you have any first time attendees? Like to introduce yourself? Okay, so you'd be over by the school? 8. You're in area 8. Okay, good to have you here. Bob?
Bob Clegg, long time resident of Citrus Heights.
That he is. Who's an old daughter?
What's it say?
I'm Annette. Bob's known me since I was little, so. But I'm in area 9.
It's good to have you here tonight. So if you want to know what our finances are, you can just pull up the agenda.
See that?
And take a look at that. We do have, where do you go? Oh, there you are. We have Lieutenant Herman coming in, and we'll give you the time right now, and then we'll do some business.
Thank you, Bill. Nice to see everybody. My name is Lieutenant Wes Herman, Lieutenant with the Citrus Heights Police Department. I've been with the department for about 16 years. Currently oversee our investigations unit. I've met many of you before. I'm here every month as our liaison, and I'm happy to report out on whatever it is that you guys might be interested in. I feel like sometimes it's more beneficial for me to kind of see what your topics of interest are versus maybe coming up with a prepared script. So if there's questions in particular, we've had a number of successes in the organization. I think our chief was at council last week reporting on our organized retail theft grant and some of the successes we've had there. But again, I'd be happy to take questions. I know Bill doesn't like questions, but I have one for you. Yeah, okay, hit me.
So last night I went over and talked to Rosario Rodriguez, and she was talking about the pop-ups that you talked about as far as food vendors.
Yeah.
And how they're doing this educational program, I guess, through the county. How would we know if someone has actually gone through the safety procedures that's out selling goods on the streets?
Yeah, that's a good question. So last month, what we mentioned was that we had a number of food vendors. Is that me? Am I interfering here? Okay. I did not have anything for lunch, so.
Okay, back there in the counter.
Okay. We have a number of food vendors that, we certainly want to support all of our businesses in Citrus Heights. And there's a number of food vendors that are just kind of popping up randomly in Citrus Heights. And so I shared some concerns that the city has. Obviously, we don't want to prohibit anybody from, making a living, earning income. But there's a certain process to go through to do that, and it's for the safety of all of you. It's for the safety of their employees, and then certainly it's so that there's a fairness with the other businesses that have followed the rules and have obtained, permits. They have obviously licensing standards, with the Food and Drug Administration, things like that. So we did an operation last month where we went out and we were basically looking for people who are violating that. You've seen them kind of on the street corner. They could be selling, specific types of food. They could be selling fruit, things like that. And I think we all, of course, want to support people who are out there at least trying. But the concern is the food that's being served to you fresh fruit? Is it food that has been perhaps obtained at a discount or illegally? And so, you wouldn't think it because, I've left the King's game in Sacramento and walked by all the vendors and the hot dogs smell delicious. And my wife goes, "No, come on, honey." And I go, "No, I'm gonna eat that. That smells so good." And I have, and I think we all probably have. But I think to Bill's point, you should ask them. You should ask to see a permit. You should ask them if they have, been licensed in Citrus Heights to be able to sell their goods. And I think what you'll find, and I kind of shared this last time briefly, is a lot of these folks are not actually out there by choice. And so, there is servitude. I mean, there are workers who are being forced to do this. And so as a patrol officer, I used to find I would stop some of these vendors and ask them how they got here, never seen them before, and a lot of them will tell you that they've been dropped off here. Sometimes they don't even have a cell phone. The city requires that they have access to bathrooms, which many of them don't, other than they can walk into a business if the business allows them as a non-customer to use it. And so it's really not fair to them. All they know is that they're there to sell, to collect money, and then they're gonna give it back to their handler when they get picked up. So even if we didn't want them there, a lot of them go, I have nowhere to go, I don't even have a phone, or this phone is just, I don't have phone numbers, if the phone rings, I answer it, that's all I know. So I think that's just unfortunate, and then it's not fair to our businesses, obviously, that are also, putting up with all this road work we've got going on in Auburn. We want to support them, and then if you can have another business just pop out right in front of them and sell in front of them, and they don't maybe have food that's safe, or they haven't gone through the normal process like all the other businesses, then that's kind of undercutting our law-abiding businesses. So I think it's just that simple. It's literally to say, if you want to support them, just ask them if they've got a permit through the city. They should have that on them, and that's just a good place to start.
So,
and you can always call us too.
So the training will be taking place through the county, through their agency, and then okay.
Yeah, if you have more on that, I'm not the expert.
That's what she was saying. That
Okay.
They are gonna come out and they're trying to approach them to educate them and to make sure and they have restrictions where they can't use propane. There's quite a few things they cannot do. But I was just wondering how you are gonna coordinate with the county.
Yeah, I see your question, sorry. If I missed that, sorry. So the county is doing this. This is a problem across all cities and counties up and down the state. The county is putting forth a proactive effort. Citrus Heights is doing the same thing. We have our own code enforcement team that's full-time that works for us. And so they're doing some of these proactive measures. We have done one, we'll call it undercover operation. It wasn't super undercover, but I mean, the fact is they didn't know we were coming, and it happened to be the last time we were here. And at the end of the meeting, I was able to share that we'd gone out and stopped a number of these vendors from their sales. So again, we want to support good businesses, but they've got to do it the right way, right? Yeah.
You indicated that last month you went out. Do you have a summary of what you found, other than what you just shared in terms of them not really their right choice?
Yeah, I mean, I could get it for you. I know you do the kind of the follow-up. So I don't have it off the top of my head. The code enforcement went out there. I want to say, I'd be guessing, I feel like they contacted 7 to 9 businesses, something like that, or 7 to 9 vendors.
Okay.
I don't know what the actual outcome was in terms of citations or the number of them that were there lawfully, but I'd be happy to get that for you.
Thank you. I'll put it in the minutes.
Yeah, perfect.
If someone does find a vendor that's not permitted, is that something you could report through that clip fix or fix clip?
See
send?
click fix.
So-
Thank you.
Yeah, Armando's shaking his head no. I'm about to say yes, but here's the.
I mean, because it'll just come to me and I would forward it.
Okay, so the answer, we're both
Yes,
right.
I guess, yes.
We're both right, but here's why. And he's probably more right, but you could put it there, and it will eventually make it to our team, because he will forward it with his team. But if you want something to be done in that moment, it is better to call the police department and ask us to go out and respond. That code enforcement team, by the way, though, works during the daytime hours normally. So we may not be able to see them right in that moment, but we can create that call, we can give it to our team to follow up on the next day.
And so if someone called the police,
Yeah.
they would just be cited like with a ticket, or would they be arrested, or?
It depends. I mean, arrested is probably a little bit extreme for what
Yeah.
is going to be going on there. Every situation might be different, depends on what they're doing. But no, probably not going to jail over that. But they are going to be. There's going to need to be an investigation done, and it'll be our code enforcement team that does it.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yes.
How about just having them posted, just like businesses do? That way people don't have to ask, they don't have to second guess or any of that, just have it posted. Like a lot of them have those pop-up tents, and you just zip tie it and there it is.
And I think that might even already be a requirement. I don't know that for a fact, but I know that sometimes they've got smaller carts, and so I don't know how all that works. But if you guys were really interested in this topic, I'd be happy to have code enforcement come one night and kind of talk to you about it. You're like, no, not that interesting. but it is a good idea, and it may be required
If
already.
you're weary of it, just don't eat there.
Yeah.
Point blank.
I think a lot of people just feel like they want to help support local business, and I think the problem is they don't realize a lot of these guys aren't even local business.
Yeah.
They're getting dropped off here. They might have come out of the Bay Area. They're getting picked up in a van. They're driving them all over. So, yeah. Yeah, Jeannie.
One of the things I've also noticed recently is you've got them, like with a big cart and peddling in, like Sam's parking lot, big cases of strawberries or something. And, you know that they've been dropped off, and I think most of them don't even speak English.
Right.
I was wondering here at Washington and Old Auburn Road, I've seen a lady and her baby all day long, so they're not just in the commercial areas, they're out in the neighborhoods too.
Yeah, and so they, and there's a couple things, obviously they can't block a sidewalk, that's, unlawful for anybody to do. A lot of them will end up back in the parking lot, so especially on Auburn Boulevard where you have a lot of large parking lots just off of the sidewalk, instead of being on the sidewalk, they'll just be in the parking lot, but they're still able to see everybody driving by. It can also be just a hazard, right? Because you do get cars that are gonna just stop in the road and not pull into a place, and now we've got a car stopped in the middle of the road, so. There's the city planning commission, the council, they put a lot of time and effort into businesses, where they're located, what the parking is gonna look like, ingress, egress, and, for someone to just kind of decide that this is where we're gonna do it, hasn't gone through that whole process to think about safety, so. Other questions? This was not the one I expected. Yeah.
Do you want to talk about the traffic on Old Auburn and Fair Oaks?
Yeah, hit me.
Okay, so, I wasn't here for the last meeting, but it deeply affects us, amongst more of us, but we live in the neighborhood that opens up to Fair Oaks and Old Auburn, and we are constantly having the traffic through. I have noticed an undercover sitting outside of, on Fair Oaks across from us, and she was watching something. I also noticed a pole that was sitting up that obviously was monitoring something. And then the other day, I saw a motorcycle cop sitting right at the edge of our entrance. But again, the timing I don't think is great for when they're doing it. But
Yes.
We're getting that through traffic nonstop, not to mention the fact that when we did do a little bit of work on Fair Oaks, the other side of the street got a gap that allowed everybody from Villa Oak to come out and to go through. We didn't get that gap, that courtesy gap, and for some reason, people don't have common courtesy anymore, and so they block us. They'll even see us try to pull out and punch it, so we can't get out. And it's like, we'll sit there for a while sometimes just to get out of our street, to go right or left at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, it's even worse now, because before it was just going left and, hoping you don't get hit by a car. Now it's hard even to get out right because nobody wants to give us the opening to pull our cars out.
Yeah. So there was a gentleman here last time, I forget his name, Bill might remember, but I spoke with him after the meeting. He did share some of the concerns. What that was in response to was Leslie Bloomquist was here talking about some of the roadway re-engineering that they were gonna do there. And I think just to be really clear, for those who were here, or if you weren't here, that was just a proof of concept that got approved. That has not, the concept was approved. There is no money behind that, and there's no funding happening, as far as we are aware, anytime soon for that particular area. So they're not gonna re-engineer that. I think there was some concern there, but I also hear what you're saying, which is, as it sits now, it's a problem.
Yeah.
And I get that
We
too.
haven't even changed it yet. But my question is do we have enough money for a gallon of paint to where we can give us,
It says keep clear.
to keep clear? Because at this point, I'm willing to take my own gallon of paint out there. Yeah, because, really, it's dangerous.
Yeah, so with that, what I did with our traffic sergeant, Kane Kassan, as I went back and shared with my partner, hey, it sounds like we need, to have some additional traffic enforcement education out in this particular area if there's cut throughs and stuff like that happening. So that's probably why you've seen some of that out there. That's one way we can do it. Traffic engineering, what you're talking about, requires city folks who are far smarter than I am in terms of engineering and understanding the traffic flow. That's closer to probably Armando's.
Yeah, that would be my division.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of studies that go into that.
There
You don't
is.
just arbitrarily get to. Go
Right.
ahead.
Can you grab your name and number after the meeting, and then somebody Professional can talk to you.
Perfect.
Because I'll be out there with spray paint with you, and we can,
Yeah.
whatever we can do. But it probably.
I would too, I mean,
Yeah.
I've been willing to do it, because it's really, I mean, we got so much traffic, and not to mention the fact that because when you pull onto our street, if you pull into our street and go straight ahead, it's just a cul-de-sac basically. So then we got people that come in there, don't know where they're going, they pull in there, we all have kids out there, grandkids, and it's like, then they're whipping around that, and then go down Blue Jay to find which way to get out. And it's like, we have families here.
Yeah.
This is where we live.
Totally understand.
So that would be the Chickmunk area? Chickmunk?
Yeah,
Okay.
woodchuck, chipmunk, blue jay,
Okay.
yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Other questions, or, yeah, Bill's giving me the nod, he's like,
Give
yes.
it a,
Yeah. Armando wants his time, I'm sure.
No, go ahead.
He's like, we ran out of time.
Go for it.
Listen, I'm here every month. I'm always happy to take whatever questions. Bring the hard questions. You got a question you want to ask the chief, but you didn't get a chance to. Even if I don't know the answer, I'm happy to go back and get you guys an answer. But really appreciate all the support that you guys constantly show our department. It makes a big difference, and we know that that's not something that we have in every city. Not every police department has that in every city, so really do appreciate you. This is just a prank at this point. Yeah, I think Bill's pranking me. Anyway, thank you all very much.
Hey, just a follow-up. I just want to thank Lieutenant Herman. I mean, he came right after that, we had the meeting last month. He got hold of Lieutenant Dunn, who used to be our rep here. And I don't know, did any of you have an opportunity to meet with him? I know he met with some of the people that had concerns about Hanson and the different streets. So I just appreciate the follow-up. Maybe they didn't get the answer they wanted, but the fact is the city did take the time to meet with them. Number two, last meeting they talked about the street lights, and Hanson has power poles. And so I got hold of Leslie and I said, what about putting lights on SMUD's existing poles? And so they're looking into that right now to at least maybe try to help alleviate the darkness on Hanson. So the city does follow up, and I appreciate that. Like I say, maybe you're not getting the answer you want, or you're only getting a partial answer, but you know, hey, they're doing what they can do to try to work with us, and once again, thank you, I appreciate it. Oh, you moved seats, okay. All right. Kat, you just wanted?
On the lighting on the street, existing lights, would you ask if we could do it in other neighborhoods, also beside Hanson?
Well, yeah, it's that whole area down around the park area. Is your street,
No, it's
yeah.
off of Mariposa and Highland, and there are no.
That's a different area.
Yes.
So I let them deal with that one. We take care of it.
I said, okay, you're
No.
right, you're right.
And so there's, you know, supposedly she'll be going over there and meeting with them here in the
Oh, okay.
future too,
Thank
and
you.
talk about it, and identifying their specific streets, so,
Thank you.
we'll go there. All right, quick,
Quick update on Woodside School PTO. Last week was it, or it was last week, I think, for the Dine and Donate for California Fish Grill. We raised $162 for Woodside School. And the current fundraiser is for See's Candy. There is a sheet up on the bulletin board there if anybody's interested in ordering some candy. The order goes in on the 27th, and they start delivering on the 8th of April in time for Easter. Last thing, there is no school this Friday and Monday, so the 21st and the 24th, the kids won't be in school. And then spring break is in April. I believe it's the 18th. I thought I had it written down. Anyways, so just be mindful when you're out and about that the kids do have days off and they're running around. Thank you.
thank you. So I'm just gonna kind of flip things here a little bit. I'm gonna let Armando go first. He represents the city of Citrus Heights, and he wears many hats. Maybe he'll take the time to explain what he does, but right now he's going to be concentrating on the goats.
Thank you, Bill. For those of, evening everybody, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Armando Velasquez. I've been with the city, this is my 20th year with the city, and I oversee pretty much everything in the right of way, meaning like potholes, trees, et cetera, et cetera. The city has 54 acre open spaces, 54 acres of open space, and then Area 7 happens to have roughly almost 16 acres of it up here. And these are big open spaces, they're flood zone. These areas are designed to flood when there's a big storm. Over the years, we've been having kind of machinery doing the weed abatement. But in the last 3 years, I've been bringing in goats, and I'm bringing the goats back this year. And these are the partials that we're doing this year. The goats should be coming sometime May, June. I don't have an exact time because they're in the city of Folsom right now. Once they're done over there, they're going to come over here. So basically today, it's just kind of sharing with everybody who lives in this area, Area 7. But for those of you who live directly behind the open spaces, everybody will be getting a kind of a information letter, just talking about the goats, where they come from, who to call if there's an emergency, etc. So I do have an icebreaker. Yeah, got a couple prizes. Yes, and these are all goat questions. Seriously. Right. Can anybody tell me where the goats come from? Where it originate goats? Where goats originated from? Originated. Go ahead.
Nigeria?
Nope.
China?
Nope.
Ireland?
Nope. It's in Europe, but give me a country.
England.
Nope. Nope.
Spain.
Who said Spain? Spain. It originated, the boar goats they come from Spain. The goats that you see here in the United States, they all originated from Spain via Mexico back in the early 1500s, and then thereafter obviously up north here. So thank you for that. Can anybody tell me what the male goat is named?
Billy.
Who said Billy?
What is it?
What about a female?
Benny? Billy's. Oh, Billy.
A what? Nope.
Billy.
Who said Nanny? You did?
You don't get two.
She won.
Billy goat. Is that for real?
I threw one.
Yeah.
It's the male.
A nanny or a doe.
Yeah, nanny.
Yeah, female. Do goats eat poison oak? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, I don't have enough for everybody. Who said yes first? Yeah. Who said that? Who said yes?
The girl on the end.
Young lady at the end.
We all know. Yes.
Okay, there you go. What is the average lifespan of a goat?
Oh,
Average lifespan of a goat.
12 years.
15.
Nope. Nope.
27.
15 to 18 years.
Oh,
Yes.
that was close. But no. One more chance.
I got a good one here.
That's right, there is.
This is like anybody can get.
This
You
is-
know why do goats have weird looking eyes?
Weird looking
Yeah, because
eyes?
their pupils are triangle. If you look at them, Google them, they're like triangle. You look at them, they're like weird, like kind of scary, freaky looking.
Oh,
You know why? Because believe it or not, they can see 360.
Really?
Yes. 360. That's what it says. That's what Google says.
Godly will must be true.
Yeah, you know, we kind of scratched our head about this one too.
No, they do, they see like that.
No, yeah, that's why
so
they
they
kind
can
of
see through, they can't see behind them. Maybe it's real? It's like, it's gotta be okay.
I want to know, what does it take for you to bring the goats over to Big Oak and have them do our ditch? We would love to have the goats.
The big oaks in the mobile home park.
Um,
Unfortunately, that's not city property. If that was city, so we're
Don't you do the ditch? You do
we
forest.
we just do inside the actual waterway in there, but we don't do the grass, the
No,
pad.
no, inside. Do you do the inside?
it's such a small area, and we need acres because I got 1,000 goats coming. So there'll be 1,000 goats in here. For sure 500.
I just wanted a couple.
A couple. Yeah.
Buy them on eBay.
So we definitely gonna have 500 in here, and then so we have 54 acres throughout the city. They're gonna be in different parts of the neighborhood. So there'll be an area 10 as well. And I'm gonna.
You can't blame me for trying.
People does that. But don't forget, you're gonna have anything.
I'm sorry.
They're gonna get you good stuff.
Well, we have crazy milk in there, so
Go ahead, Kathy. I didn't hear you.
How many people do you have staffing the goats? I know you've got somebody staying overnight.
Yeah. So the question is from Kathy is how many people staff the goats overnight? One herder. One herder. And here's a good food for thought. Do you know where the herders come from? What part of the world they come from? There's one. No, that's what I thought.
Israel.
No, that's what I thought too. No,
Israel.
Peru.
Oh.
It's in it's brought up for childhood. Peru. So every herder in the United States grabs a person on a visa, I believe, and they sponsor them for 8 months out of the year. And they pay for, believe it or not, they pay for their insurance. They pay for their housing, which is a trailer, I guess. And they do pay tax on that earnings that they get. But it's like a 24-hour job.
Oh yeah.
It's like a 24-hour job. It's not physical, out there.
Dogs.
There's two of the big Newfoundland. No, not Newfoundland. I forgot the breed. It's a real big one. Those are for the coyotes and big game like that. Believe it or not, there's two of them, and then there's two of the collies. The collies are the working dogs. Those are the ones that can make those goats go down in a straight line.
never used
And then the two big Newfoundlands are protection dogs. They'll bite you, and they'll bite the big coyotes or whoever's back in there.
How expensive is it to?
Believe it or not, I wanted to kind of bring that up. For us to do this by hand or by tractor in hand, it takes 3 weeks, probably 30 grand.
Right.
And this is and so 30 grand. So it's $640 an acre. And they can blow through this. I think Kathy or the people that live behind her less than a week. Less than a week, days.
Yeah.
And it goes from like nothing, like night and day. And believe it or not, they eat everything: poison oak, pampas grass, cattail. And then people ask me, hey, what if there's a nest? Because it is nesting season. Their instinct is to stay away from it. So if there's a turkey nest or some type of nesting nest, their instinct is to stay away from it.
Wow.
It's bred in it's a wildlife thing.
Water run?
I'm sorry?
Water.
The herder provides water from, but they drink from the creek.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. They get in there and they do 120% better job than humans. Because with humans, we're bringing in oil, we're bringing in gas, the noise of it, the noise of all that, the weed whacking. And you guys,
break.
Yeah, I'm sorry?
The lunch break.
The lunch breaks, yeah. The cigarette breaks. I gotta pay for
Coffee
that.
break.
These
The
guys,
goats don't do that.
they work and work. The more food out there, they love it. The merrier.
Do they bring in fertilizer?
I'm sorry? Yes, they bring in fertilizer.
How long does it take to do?
So the question is, how long does it take for the goats to do this? We anticipate 3 to 4 days, if that.
In this area here,
This whole 15 acres.
3 to 4 days.
3 to 4 days. Where it takes humans 3 weeks.
Wow.
That's like a 7-hour day for humans, 8-hour day.
Humans. 3
No, I have an 8-man team with a tractor, with a tractor on it, but he's just,
They can't get to some places.
there's a lot of stuff that the humans can't get that the goats can. When they're down the little cliffs, the goats can get in there. They do 10 times better than what a human does. So we have, like I said, in the beginning, we have 54 acres. They're gonna pick up these 500 goats and take them to the other parcels that we own. So they're gonna be, I'm gonna have 1,000 goats. 500 will be here in these two parcels, and I have another 500 going to area 10. And then we move to area 3 and 4. And then we go to area 2. And then behind City Hall, for those folks behind there.
I know last year they did alongside Van Naren.
That's area 3.
Good job.
Yeah, the area 3 over there, yes. People love them. And I just need, like I tell everybody, I just need the support of everybody.
So,
Yes.
What neighborhood areas did you say? I'm sorry.
So we're going to, area 3, area 4, area 10, and then area 7.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, go ahead.
I frequently walk that trail at Rocky Ridge and Kirby in Roseville.
Okay.
Bring the goats in there, there's a creek. And they have Great Pyrenees like too.
There you go. Great Pyrenees is what I was thinking
And
about.
I'm wondering, they fenced off the area with like an electric shock fence?
That is correct. It's a standard equipment that the herders use, which is a low voltage, but it gives you a good little.
Yeah,
gives you a
okay, so
little-
the humans.
What it is just to keep the game out of it. I mean, get the critters out of there. And hopefully humans don't touch
And
it.
there have been deer, there was a deer on Glen Tree Drive right in front of my house.
This is full of deer. Full of deer. Yeah, this is full of deer. Yeah, there's all kinds of critters back in here. Go ahead, sir.
I'd like to know how they transport the goats.
They have a 45-foot trailer, double decker. He puts 250 on the top and 250 down below, and all the dogs go in there. Believe it or not, with them. It's funny to see it. Yeah. And then if you guys, when I have a date, when they come, I'll shoot it out to the area 7, and then maybe you guys can meet us out there. And then it's cool because when they start from this side, when they start from here, then we work our way west. So we block the road here, and it's amazing what two herding dogs do. They make those goats just go in a straight line with no chain, no anything else. They just sit there, and the goats know. They go from here to here. Yeah.
So Armando.
Yes.
How did you become aware of this?
So the city used it probably about 15 years ago. And then something happened, and I became in charge, and I brought them back. Yeah. Yes.
Great idea.
Thank you.
So I have a concern about, it doesn't matter whether you bring the guys in with the weed whackers or the goats,
Yeah.
but they're eating and wiping out everything, including the small new seedlings of the oak trees.
That is correct, yeah.
What are we doing? Are we doing anything to try to stop that from happening?
So,
There once and the
yeah,
goats were
no,
sitting,
not
they were
necessarily,
sitting
we're
down.
not doing anything kind of mitigating.
And I was just
either.
being
I mean,
funny, and I said to
understand your
him,
concern that we
are
wanna
these goats being
populate.
paid by the
Trees,
town?
so we have no new ones.
We are. Good question. I don't have a plan for
He
that,
laughed.
for all the little seedlings, the seedlings that are being eaten. But I don't, Yes.
The dogs that you bring in, are they selective of the wild animals? Like, do they kill the deer or?
I'm sorry, say it again?
Do the dogs
Oh.
kill other animals other than, the?
So the question is if the herding dogs or the other guarding dogs, do they hurt other, the natural wildlife? The answer is no. Answer is no. It's that instinct. They don't go and mingle with the goats because they know there's something.
Oh, I see, of course, yeah.
It's that natural effect.
Oh, okay.
No.
Yes.
Question. Since you've now decided not to do the area behind my home, which was originally planned, I guess, was in your plan. Well, what if I decided to go get a couple of goats and put them out here?
I'd rather you not. Yeah. Like I tell everybody, I'd rather the city manage our property. That way we know who's in there. We don't get calls from neighbors like, what is that person doing in there? Why are they in there? So I like to manage. If there's an issue anywhere of any of the city property, just let us know. Let me know. I want to have the opportunity to go ahead and try to mitigate or manage it. And so for next year, the whole goal is to do, so this blue section is from here to here, but our goal is to work with our partners from Sunrise Park and Recs, who owns the majority of all this here. And then I own this little piece of property here. And so the whole goal is to start from here and work our way west next year. Because with fire season coming up, I mean, the restrictions that are going to be coming up by the fire, because what happened in Los Angeles, it's going to change. These agencies that kind of let things go natural, those days are gone now. Those days are gone. Believe it or not, there's a lot of insurances are canceling people because they live behind not our open spaces, but certain open spaces, or they're threatening to cancel homeowners because the trees are overgrown or the vegetation is not managed. So once the goats are coming here, it's like a beautiful park. It's like a beautiful park in there. Yes.
We're having a problem with coyotes going through the creeks. Will they go after the smaller of the sheep?
Well, that's why the dogs are there.
Yeah, the dogs don't run.
So the question is, we have coyotes that go up and down this corridor, and she's correct. And the question is, will the coyotes try to get the sheep? Most likely they probably will. However, you have those protection dogs there. Yeah. And then you have the little shock fence. So, but those dogs, those protection dogs, they're bred to defend.
Yeah, but they're so big, they don't have, most animals won't go up against them.
Yeah, it's that natural
Coyotes
thing.
are very
Yeah,
smart.
exactly. You know, coyotes are smart. They know they're not
Right.
to meddle in somewhere where they're not
Those dogs have
supposed
a
to.
certain smell and look.
Believe it or not, they're just like any other male dogs. They leave their scent, and other breed or other species out there, they smell it and they go away.
They go away.
Yeah.
Would you commend the goats for us? They do an excellent job.
Ricardo, once they come, I want to make sure I call you personally.
Yeah, thank you.
To make sure you're there, and I want you to come to.
Thank you. Yeah, because I drive right by, the little bridge there.
So our areas in this where the goats are going to be, they're going to be in our city portal. So we're going to have our PIO team put them, say, hey, this week they're going to be over here, so you'll be able to follow them. So like if you miss them over here, they'll be in area 10, and then they'll be area 4, and then area 3. Yes.
So you said that transporting them from the other area there down to where
You are out here?
would cost a lot more money than is feasible right now.
That's correct.
Can't you herd them down with the dogs since they're starting up there and coming down?
So the question is, we own this parcel here. We own from here.
Right.
This is Sunrise Park and Recs, and they're not participating this year, which is okay. And the question is, can I bring them back over here? We can, but there's a charge. It's approximately $2,500 to bring them back in the truck and to drive them back over here.
But you couldn't herd them through the Sunrise Park.
No, because they're like kids. They'll go everywhere. Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah. So, you want to get? I'll remember that. Yeah. So this would be a natural way of the weed abatement and a better way for the city to manage their properties.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody want to pick up? There we go.
Put your hand.
I do have some swag up there. Sorry, Bill. Up at the table. Take it all. I don't want it.
All right. Okay, so now we know how to get rid of the vegetation. I'd like to invite Greg Gayton up. He's with Green Acres. And we're excited to have you here. I heard you a couple years ago at the REACH meeting, and so these are goat-resistant plants, right?
That sounds, I'm fascinated. First of all, I'm honored to be here. I've talked to another Citrus Heights organization. I really think this is great. I've been with Green Acres in Matsudas for 46 years. So I'm sort of the self-proclaimed plant nerd. So if you go to our website, it says Plant Advice. I answer all those questions for all the 7 stores. So please, I'm happy to answer any questions. Some of the questions are really sort of off the wall, like, why does your toilet paper suck at the Roseville store?
Why is that?
I don't know. And I put the music in the stores. I produce our Green Acres Garden podcast. So if anybody has any good ideas about that, a couple of years back, we actually were told by Apple Music that we were the #1 nursery podcast for a week. So I'm that. And so we do a lot of interviews actually at our Citrus Heights store. And we were really honored to be part of Citrus Heights. And I don't know if anybody knows about the history of Green Acres or that, but the owners are actually live in Sacramento. It's the Gill family, Mark Gill, his son Travis, and his daughter Ashley. Well, actually, they live in, Ashley and Mark live in West Sac now. And then Travis lives in Loomis. So we're local family owned. A lot of people think, wow, you're a chain or whatever. But we're not. We're a very fun, dysfunctionally fun family to work for. I started with Matsuda's Nursery in 1978. And I actually worked under Hatsuko and Hiroshi Matsuda, and a lot of people don't realize that Hiroshi Matsuda was actually a war hero and served under Douglas MacArthur during the war. And his wife wasn't interned because of that, and she was actually the nanny for the people who owned Honeywell up in Minneapolis. I like a lot of history, so kick me, or if I start seeing a lot of yawns, I'm the type of person that nobody likes to ride with when I go on vacation, because I sit and look at all the historical markers and read everything. So, but that's part of my job is a storyteller, and the owner likes me to get out there. I was manager of the Sacramento store. I was commodity buyer for our Matsuda Nursery. We have 200 acres. I was part of the IT department. I actually put the registers in at the San Juan store, which we call San Juan Citrus Heights. And I'm actually was a safety person for the store. But now I'm down to marketing because I'm getting a little old and decrepit. But I answer all the questions. I'm a California certified nursery professional. So, please, let me have them. I'm happy to answer them. If I don't know, I'll look it up. And you can go to our website, idiggreenacres.com, and ask me, and I'll be happy to stay a little bit longer if anybody has any questions. But I'm not shy. I love talking about plants. Everybody, a friend who works at one of the stores said, God, I bet we got something on, grabbed my laptop and looked at the history and said, you're the most boringest person in the world because it's plants and golden retrievers. So definitely I love talking about it. What I like talking about a lot, and I know that Citrus Heights doesn't have the greatest soil in the world. So through all these years, we've learned a lot. Back in the 70s, when I managed Matsuda's, I would literally have to go into the store an hour early and open the doors because you would pass out from the chemical smells. And then when Mark Gill bought Matsuda's back in 2008, I started working with all the nurseries. And I remember thinking, right by the Sacramento store, the soil is really great. You can actually throw a shovel and stick in the ground. And I thought, oh God, Roseville, this is gonna be fun. What do they grow in Roseville? Tumbleweeds? And I found out that Roseville has some of the most fertile gardens, and there's a lot of fertile gardens here. So I learned a lot from the customers about amending the soil. And then we had the 10 years of drought here in Northern California, and we learned from that. So we actually learned from really, obstacles that came upon us. And so gardening has changed, has evolved from gardening to the 80s and 90s, organic gardening, to now ecological gardening. And that's basically what we try and get through to people at our stores now. If you don't know what ecological gardening is actually working with nature as opposed to against it. And a lot of times people, back in the 70s, people would buy a flat of vegetables and automatically pull a bottle of malathion off the shelf and spray, even though they didn't have any insects. people would plant things in their yard and not amend the soil, or never amend the soil, and they'd always wonder why things died. Then we had the drought, and then everybody was like, oh, I don't know how to water. Everybody was watering wrong. So we've learned and we've evolved into ecological gardening, starting with like insects. We work with the University of California. One of the owners of Green Acres is in Dallas, Texas, so we actually have 3 stores in Texas now. I'm going there the first Saturday in April, and I know a little Texan. I want to take a Rosetta Stone because, boy, they sure talk different in Texas. But what we're working with Texas A&M AgriLife, and we're working with University of California, is that 90 to 95% of the insects that come into your yard are beneficial. And a lot of people don't realize that. And back in the 70s and 80s, you could drive from Sacramento to Davis and have to clean your windshield. And what we're trying to do is bring that back. And the reason why is a lot of people will reach out to me on the gardening questions and go, I had squash and they flowered, but I didn't have any fruit. The reason they didn't have any fruit was they didn't have any pollinators. They didn't bring any insects in. They were too excited about, like we had at our Elk Grove store. I was there, I think it was like about last May, and a guy came in with a tub of insects, and he wanted to find out what they were, and he wanted to kill them. They were ladybug larvae. People will come in with leaves, and they have perfect round circles, and they go, we want to kill this, not even seeing what the insect is. It's a cutter bee, and cutter bees are California native bees. There's 1,500 native California bees, and those all help pollinate. So how do you keep these insects, or how do you attract them? Well, first of all, if you have something in your yard that you're not sure about, don't panic. Take a picture of it, send it to me on Garden Solutions, or take a picture and send it into the store. Or better yet, what's happening now with all these stores, these phones, is take a picture, slide it up, and it'll tell you what the insect is. And more than likely, it's going to be a beneficial insect. I do that with my iPhone. I can take a picture of something, slide it up, and it'll tell you what the insect is.
So is a snail a beneficial?
They sure are good when I go to France.
Yeah. Well, I've had some of those too, but I mean.
Well, okay, so that's a fair question. Is a snail a beneficial insect? So they were placed there for some reason. Those were imported in. But like a grasshopper, for example, people go, wow, I have a grasshopper. And grasshoppers were brought onto this planet because they came to torment us. But it's not true. Grasshoppers, if you first see one, step on it because they love to have sex and they love to have tons of grasshoppers. But basically, grasshoppers open up the soil. There's got to be something, and I'm glad you asked that question because I'll have to find out what there's a beneficial for.
They love the leaves on some of my plants, my green plants.
A lot of people will come in for like sluggo or snail bait, and the one thing you want to do is put that away from your plant so that it doesn't go attracted to it. It goes away because they will make the product will make it so that the snail will not be lethargic and die. So don't put sluggo or any of those snail baits around your plants. But anyway. People call me a poster child Gemini, so I go off and about in different directions. I love questions asked. But there are a lot of insects that are here for a reason. Aphids, who would have thought that aphids served their purpose? But hummingbirds need aphids for protein. Birds need aphids for protein. Aphids are the dumbest creature on the planet. If you see aphids, get your hose and just spray the heck out of them. If they don't go to your neighbors, they're not going to come back to your yard. And one thing about aphids, which is really sort of cool, is that when they lay eggs, the aphid inside the egg can be pregnant. I didn't know that, but boy, that's true. It's really strange. It's fascinating. Listening to the goats, now I've got more info that I can share with some of my talks. So we're going back to, most of the insects are beneficial. You have like leaf-footed insects that come in, they'll eat like your tomatoes and that. You can get rid of them. There's a good way by getting the good old Home Depot orange bucket, filling it with some water, putting some like Dawn dishwashing soap and plucking them and putting them, and they will die. You don't get them all, but guess what? The birds need those to eat. So by slowly picking them, I know a lot of people don't want to touch a bug, but actually a while you can just sort of think it's like your brother-in-law or something. Just pluck them. But so actually, when you see an insect, reach out to somebody at the nursery or send me an email of the picture and we'll be happy to tell you if it's a friend or foe. And if it's a foe, we can tell you how to get rid of it. And more than likely, it'll only stay for a couple of weeks. And you know, don't be alarmed if you see a couple of leaves on some being chewed. That's just sort of natural. I don't eat pine cones. I'm not Yoel Gibbons, but I've changed my whole train of thought through the years. So anyway, we talked about pesticides, not really using them or asking, because it's really important because we want those pollinators to come into your yard. If you grow a vegetable garden, you want them to enable to pollinate your plants. And a lot of people, I have 3 community gardens in my, I'm just a plant nerd. I mean, I can't get enough planting. And everybody a long time ago thought I lost my mind because in my garden, besides planting my tomatoes, I put in flowers like scabiosa, which bloom throughout the winter time too. These plants bring in bees, they bring in butterflies. Everybody, I have a garden at the corner of Marconi and Mission. Now everybody has a scabiosa plant in it. We've started getting more prolific. Lavender. Lavender, there's so many varieties. This lavender right now is a Spanish one. It's the first one that comes out. Then there comes out to be the French, and there comes out to be the English. Lavender are great. Cut them back. If you're not sure how much to cut them back, because that'll encourage them to bloom, a glass of wine will give you all the encouragement on how much to cut them back. So, has anybody put flowers in their vegetable garden before?
Yes.
Okay, cool. What kind of flowers did you use?
Marigolds.
Marigolds, excellent.
Yeah, same.
Okay, zinnias are great. Cosmos are great. Anything. Bulbs. Put in gladiolus bulbs right now. Gladiolus will attract hummingbirds.
I had lavender to come visit me, and I don't know where it came from, and I love it.
Well, I saw the green thumb from back here. It was. If you can grow lavender in Citrus Heights naturally, then I think you need to be out here talking to everybody because you are definitely a gifted gardener. Does anybody have any questions so far about pollinators and bringing them into the garden? Does everybody grow vegetables here?
So I live in this area.
Don't even eat vegetables.
I was in my house for 40 years, and I have a rat problem.
Okay.
And so I stopped growing vegetables because I can't harvest zucchini.
Okay.
I'm probably the only person in the world that's never been able to harvest zucchini because
of the rats.
the rats come in and eat the blossoms.
Okay.
So what do you do about rodents?
Well, rodents, the University of California recommends trapping them. And to no avail, huh?
Well, I just had my entire house sealed by my pest control company because they were getting in my garage and they literally killed my washing machine.
Wow. Yeah, it's like the squirrels too.
And so they're digging, you know.
Do you have any animals, like a dog or cat?
Yeah, but he's worthless.
I have a golden retriever. He would probably love to give him a couple of greenies a week and he would be the happiest guy in the world.
I have the most passive dog in the world. He's a big guy, but he's very passive.
Oh, boy. Well, rats are a real problem. You know, a lot of nurseries, a lot of farmers will put up owl houses to get rid of the rats. For owls will come in and take care of them. Everybody's getting into ecological gardening, including farmers and organic gardens and everywhere. So, boy, I can look it up. You can reach out to me. I can give you my card. I'll be happy to check on that a little bit more. That'd be great.
Squirrels are my anger. They're little jerks. So, but I don't know what to do about just deterring them without killing them. I don't want to kill them.
You know, a lot of people feed them, so a lot of your neighbors might be feeding
Yes.
them. And there's two types of squirrels, there's a tree squirrel and there's a ground squirrel. So if you have like tree squirrels, if you can keep the trees or branches away from your house,
Yeah.
a lot of times, a lot of people are just planting more just to feed the squirrels.
Wow.
I know now, there's actually now, squirrels go and eat bird feed.
Yes.
There's actually now a bird feed with a sriracha mix in
Yeah.
it. So that the birds don't mind, birds have no taste.
Right.
But the squirrels can't stand
Yeah.
Mexican food, so. So, vertebrate pests are really hard to control.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, I sit with a lot of people at University of California, Davis, and it's a really tough one.
Yeah.
So, but I'll be happy to check on that for you. Sure, because I like challenges.
I think we've all been experiencing our water rates that are going up and up and up. And I feel bad for Bob, he's left, he has quite a yard.
Oh,
He
okay.
had 2 bills last year for $400.
Wow.
From Citrus Heights Water District. So what are you recommending, that we do with our yards? I mean, we don't want to turn them brown.
No. And there's a lot of, so for lawns, for example, aerating and dethatching is really important, especially with heavy clay soils, because aerating will basically put holes in your lawn so that it'll get down to the root system. Dethatching is great because even new lawns will put out dead grass right at the root, and that'll keep the water from penetrating. So aerating and dethatching at least once a year. The fall is the best time, but you can do it right now. Keep your lawn more high. Everybody wants their lawn to look like it was just mowed, but if you keep your mower height at like 3 inches, you're not gonna have to use as much water. And overseeding with like a fescue blend will actually work really well. You water longer but infrequently so you can get the root system established. And try and use organic fertilizers. Organic fertilizers don't push a lot of new blade growth, but they help the root system establish themselves. So there are organic fertilizers. I know that everybody wants their yard to look like a bag of Scott's fertilizer, but actually that's not the thing. As far as plants go, drip watering systems are the best way to go because you're basically only getting water to the roots. If you use sprinklers, you're wasting a lot of water, but you're also causing a lot of weeds to come out too. Because the more you get out there in the water, you're gonna start bringing up weeds like Bermuda grass, nutsedge, and a lot of things that really like water. So drip watering system is really good. And I do a lot of guerrilla gardening, and everybody says I'm gonna get shot someday, but you wanna keep your emitters at the drip line of the plant. You don't want to put it close to the plant, you wanna put it away from the plant, right at the drip line, because the plants don't take any water at the trunk. So forget about the trunk. It's like taking a drink through your elbow. It's totally worthless, useless to the plant. If you want the water to go away from the trunk of the tree. So drip and also mulching. Mulching is really important to keep water bills down because the mulch, at least 3 inches of mulch is gonna help the soil conserve water. So, keep the mulch a good 3 to 4 inches away from any trunks, but that'll also help control the weeds and help keep the moisture in.
What about using cardboard?
Cardboard is outstanding. Cardboard keeps the mulch out. It's an organic product. Keeps the weeds out, I should say. It's an organic product. This is like my 18th talk this year alone. I don't know, people are hard up to have somebody talk to them, but anyway, cardboard is wonderful because it helps shade and it helps with the mulch. Weeds like Bermuda grass like sunlight. Bermuda grass's biggest obstacle or biggest thing that it hates is shade. And back in the 70s when I started, before Roundup was invented, that was the big thing, put mulch down or plant hypericum so it shades the Bermuda grass. So I hope that, does that make a lot of sense? Yeah, you can really cut your water bill down by using drip. And a lot of people are pulling their lawns out, so that's really important.
I have a house plant that has little bits of like white fuzzy stuff on it.
Okay, so it's like mealybug?
Like what?
Mealybug?
I don't know.
Okay, so it's probably a mealybug, it's at like the nodes.
Okay.
Okay, well, so throw it away and come to Green Acres and buy another plant. No, mealybugs are really hard to get rid of, so take it away from your other plants.
Okay.
And then you can use a systemic, which is an insecticide that works through the plant. There's houseplant systemics that makes basically the whole plant poisonous to that mealybug. But it's really hard, it's like the guest that will never leave. So it's really hard to get rid of that. You can get like alcohol and cotton swabs and dip and touch them, but boy, who has time to do that?
Is this something maybe I transported it into my house with a plant or?
Mealybugs come out of everywhere. I think they come from outer space, actually.
Okay.
But I've known people with houseplants that have had for like 10 years and all of a sudden mealybugs.
Yeah.
I think they come on carpet, I think they come on rugs, they're just all over the place.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure.
So, I never heard of using cardboard for.
Cardboard is
So
outstanding.
do you put it underground? Or?
So what you do is you just put it, so what I do is I just put it on the ground and I put mulch on top of it.
Okay, that's what I figured.
And it's amazing. It keeps the moisture in. It keeps the weeds from coming up. It's wonderful. I'm not a proponent of using Roundup or anything. Roundup is hard to pass up if you have something that you just need to kill. But boy, cardboard and mulching will control the weeds. Our goats.
Have you heard of EcoGuard pest control? Has anybody used EcoGuard?
I haven't. But anything that uses organics is okay by me.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
So as far as her mealybugs go, can she repot it with new soil?
My mealybugs?
Well, I don't know. I don't think I would really chance it because they're really hard to get rid of. So I'd probably try and get rid of them first, put it in another room, and then try the systemic or try the alcohols.
And also, you guys are talking about cardboard, I love cardboard too, but when you get your packages from Amazon, there's all that brown paper in there.
That's okay.
Packing paper? It's not.
No, I wouldn't use that. You don't want to use printed paper. You want to use brown cardboard is the best thing. So, excellent. God, I like these questions. They're awesome. So we pretty much talked about bringing in pollinators and flowers like that. We talked about soils. It's really important to keep adding organic matter to your soil because not only does it help cool and keep the weeds out, but it also is actually where a home of a lot of the beneficial and native insects go. And so if you use a blower, put more mulch down, and because blowers, even though they make really clean that, they're taking a lot of organic matter out of your ground. And the plants do best when you have more organic matter. Bark, earthworm castings are really wonderful. You can't get anything better than worm poop. It not only opens up the soil, but it also is a fertilizer and it's also a fungicide. And you don't have to use that much, and you don't incorporate or mix it into the ground, you put it on top of the soil. I'm a lazy gardener. I don't want to get a rototiller out or anything like that. That's the worst thing you can do for your soil. So if you have like a raised bed and you're going to amend the soil, lay it on top, because there are microorganisms that are beneficial in the soil, and you work those up and you kill them. But if you keep on putting that down, these are going to eventually go down and break up your soil. So That's the one thing you want to do. And soil is one of the most important parts of your plant, because if your soil's not good, your root system's not good, and so your plants aren't going to do well.
Is that product good for drainage? Like, I have a drainage problem with.
It's
plants that
amazing for
can't-
drainage because it helps open up the soil.
Yeah.
And you don't have water standing. It just works really well. I learned it from castings from people in Roseville and Rockland because the soil is so bad and it really helps break up. But you can use like all mulch, steer manure, chicken manure, cow, horse manure. They all work well. Don't feel like you're ever putting too much. The more you put on, the better it is.
So what about rocks and sand, like small rocks?
I have plenty of rocks in my head, so I just... rocks are considered a mulch, but rocks also retain heat. So
If they're in the ground.
it looks nice and neat, but at least keep the rocks away from the drip line of the plant so that the plant is not overheated during the summertime.
Okay, so you don't recommend small gravel for drainage
For drainage, yes, but not for a mulch. Okay, for like a French drain or so, that's great. I did not order hot weather this summer, so you don't have to worry. It's not gonna be like that in January. Fertilizers, am I running out of time?
No.
I think we stick around and ask questions.
Okay, so who uses Miracle Grow?
No.
Okay. Oh, okay. So, please, I'm not to shame you, but this is the worst thing you can ever be using. When you go to Costco and you buy your 50-pound bag of Miracle Grow, buy a year's supply of Reese's peanut butter cups instead. Because Miracle Grow is a synthetic. Now, a synthetic is okay if you live in Ohio where it rains all summer long and the fertilizer leaches. But here, where our heavy clay soil is, what it does is it stimulates a lot of top growth. The top growth is actually soft, and that's an avenue for insects to come in. It also adds salts around the root system, so your plants are going to need water more often. So we put, if you go into our store, we still sell it, but it's at the bottom of the shelf. We make sure people really, it's not something that we really recommend. I don't recommend it at all. If I see you in the store, I'll probably get on my knees and beg you not to buy this product.
What about Miracle Grow soil, like for potting?
You know, when Home Depot has a sale like buy one get 20 free, I would definitely go for it. You know?
I'm just curious if the soil had the Miracle Grow soil is.
Miracle Grow is fine. It's because it's an organic.
Okay.
Our soils, of course, I'm going to say our soils are better. They're actually local in Suisun by E.B. Stone and Company. So I've been selling it for over 40 years. Miracle Grow, you know, hey, I've used it if I need filler and it's cheap, I'm going to use it. I'm not going to lie about that.
Thank you.
But try and go with an organic-based fertilizer. Because, and this is a family-owned company, over 105 years in Suisun. They have a product called mycorrhiza, which is actually a fungi that attaches to your root system that actually helps your root system grow. So when you get a plant and it's looking good, but it's not growing really fast, get over it because your root system's getting established. And you really want that to happen. Eventually it will take off, but the plant will be a lot better. Although I shouldn't say that because then you'll have not come in and buy more plants. So you want the plants to die. Fish emulsion is absolutely fantastic. I know it stinks, and if you have a dog like my golden retriever, he's going to think you're the best thing that ever happened. But fish emulsion with kelp helps the plants grow a lot quicker once they're established, and it helps the root system establish itself. Does anybody like synthetics? Does anybody think it's the great thing? Good, I've done my job. It's time for putting in veggies soon, and we own Isley Nursery, which is up in Oliver, so we grow our own vegetables. On our podcast, This is Isley hot wax peppers, which are really hot. Everybody likes them. It's only to Isley Nursery. Actually, every year have to send a 6-pack to Montana to a person. And by the way, do we have like I have 2 gift cards. How do I do that?
You wanna use the drawing?
Yeah, we got raffle tickets.
Okay, so they're 2 $50 gift cards.
Wow.
So, don't have goats, but I have gift cards. Does anybody like hot peppers? Does anybody grow hot peppers? There you go.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. I don't have tumblers. We do actually have those. I should have brought some.
Thanks.
Let's see, I probably have just a couple minutes. There is another thing too. If you don't have luck with your vegetables or they don't really do well, they might be needing trace minerals. And this is azomite. It's not talking about somebody's body. It's actually talking about A to Z minerals. So if you have bad luck with veggies or they're just not producing a lot, consider using azomite. Am I okay now? Or do I have
Give them time, Bill.
I guess they're one more time.
Okay.
We have a few here. Keep going. Especially if you're giving things away. I really appreciate the gift cards too.
One of the things that everybody should put in their yard, at least one California native plant. It's really important. And the reason why is because it helps bring in the native insects. So one of my podcasts was at Hedgerow Farms, which is a natural wildflower company in Winters. And so just planting 1 pack of seeds will make a huge difference to bringing native insects into your yard.
Wow.
And let's see what else. This is fun. I'm so tired. I'm having a blast. I'll not forget this. Most of the weed killers, there are some weeds that are hard to get rid of, especially the kind in your driveway, where you don't have to worry about anything growing. They're coming out, besides vinegar now, they have sea salt and vinegar. And it beats the tar out of them, but I wouldn't put it around any plants because salt will kill beneficial microbes in your soil. But there is now something that will take care of all those nasty little weeds that grow like in nooks and crannies, right outside your driveway or anything like that. So this is out there. But please reach out to me anytime. I'm happy to answer any questions.
I have, I think they're called cypress trees.
Sure.
They're tall.
Italian cypress?
And they're way up there. The ground around it is just hard as a rock.
Okay.
And the flower beds slip. So the water just goes right away. So how do I,
Earthworm castings around the soil, around them, on top of it. Earthworm casting placed on top of the soil will help loosen up the drainage. Adding mulch will actually help open up that soil too. So give it a try. The Citrusite store has my favorite manager of all time. She just moved from Roseville to the Citrusite store. Her name is Debbie Young. Our stores are, if you ever need anything, please ask for Debbie. We're getting a little bit crazy on donations, but every month, every store gets a budget for donations. And so we ask people to go to the store and they will be happy to at least talk to you about that. So I always like to say, one of the reasons why I'm here is because the owner says we have to earn our customers. We could just put up a building there and say, come and get it, but we actually need to talk and let you know about us. And so like I said, we're local, we're family owned. You can tell me that the toilet paper sucks and I'll see if I can change it or whatever.
So, April 22nd, the city is sponsoring a volunteer event. It's Earth Day that day.
Oh, cool.
Will Green Acres be willing to contribute one tree to the city?
Of course.
Okay.
Reach out to me, I'll give you my card.
Okay.
What kind of tree were you looking for?
I got live oaks in the parking lot.
Okay.
Actually, I got crepe myrtles as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So any color crepe myrtle.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you my card. Just reach out to me and I'll make sure Debbie makes it happen.
Gotcha.
This is my card. I'll get you my card.
Yeah.
No, that's an honor.
Yeah. Thank
Like
you.
I said, here it is. We're part of the community. The owner says we live here too, although he doesn't live in Citrus Heights, he lives in West Sac. Sure.
I'm the guy who uses Miracle Grow. so-
Okay, no, I'm sorry.
He's not gonna give you the box.
I can see my picture on your pen to tell on the donkey.
You know what's interesting is I was Googling and they recommend, wherever I read it, they recommended against it. But what do you recommend to kill sage weed that's, invading your grass? I got fescue that won't kill the grass itself.
Okay, so where do you set your lawnmower at?
The
blade.
when I water,
Yeah, well, no, when you cut your lawn,
how
high? Because
during the summer I leave it higher.
Okay, good.
And I usually water. I read somewhere like 3-minute spans for like three times at night.
Okay, so that's not recommended. So and the new thing is called cycle and soak. So what you do is when your lawn is really dry, you turn your irrigation on, and say like when you start seeing runoff, you turn it off. So you count how many minutes that is. So more than likely, it's going to be like 10 to 15 minutes.
Not with my sprinklers.
Okay.
I get run off real fast.
So you work, and then what you do is you wait 20 minutes, and then you do half of that. And you don't do it at night because you're going to run into fungus and problems. Early morning is the best. So like 4 to 8 o'clock is the best time to put your lawn.
I usually I think I start at 12 down to 5 or something.
Okay, yeah, 12's a little early.
But what about the sage weeds? Because I've used different things, and it kills the sage, but it kills my grass too.
Yeah, so the problem is that your grass is a monocot, and your sedge, they say, are also monocots. So what's going to kill that is going to kill your lawn as well. So keeping it higher, overseeding will help. Watering a little bit deeper is going to help the other lawn. It's sort of survival of the fittest. And then if you have like spots, if it's like that type of spots.
Yeah, I just get spots.
Okay, well make sure you don't let it go to seed. So if you see a seed pod, pull that off.
I'm anal on that.
Get a coffee can, cut both sides, and round up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and just kill it that way. Eventually, you're going to have to overseed to get the brown spots, but that's about one of the best ways to do it.
Okay.
We've had a lot of product pulled because of EPA regulations. So chemicals have been sort of diluted a little bit, but I'd still recommend using the Roundup spray like that.
Okay.
Now, if you want to stick around, maybe you can talk about some personal questions we have.
I hope I did okay.
You did great.
I'm not shy, so ask me questions.
Well, I'm sure they will.
I just don't know where they get the toilet paper at. I put the music in the store. No, I think it's a supply company, but I put the music in the stores, and I set up my laptop, and if you can tell when a store has really upset me, because I don't like the music, Adele. So if you hear Adele in our store a lot, you know that the manager's really upset. But I don't put the Christmas music on until the day after Thanksgiving. I take it off right before Christmas.
So we're going to do a raffle, and I'll let you pick them out. Since
Okay.
They're coming from your store.
Okay.
Do you want to
Well,
talk those backs real quick?
So what now?
Food Max.
Oh, Food Max, well, they're gone. I was gonna mention, Food Max, we sent out, our emails about they had a desire to up their liquor license to, instead of just selling beer and wine, to a
If I
full
win anything,
liquor
I'll get it
license.
to you.
And,
Let me know.
he's gone. I was gonna,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Parmesan is no longer here, but anyway, he notified us, and we put out an email to the people here in our areas, and he had roughly 100 protest letters. He said when he went down there, they usually expect maybe 10. The problem with Food Max, they were hiding it behind their seed display at the front door. So if you walked up, you really couldn't see their letter of intent, and it was kind of hid unless you went kind of worked your way around the display. So anyway, the city came out against it, so they will not be getting their liquor license. And basically what they do is Save Mart is now owns Food Max, and they just take their liquor license and they just plop it into their different stores. So that's not gonna happen. So, and then also, I'll talk about it later. We do have a big day of service coming up on May 17th. We will be working with Sunrise Park District and rebuilding tables, benches, the gazebo and everything else over at Madeira Park. So that'll be a project. If you guys are interested, let us know. We're looking for people to come help, and it's just a fun day. And we'll get more details on it. And Steve, if you have a shirt, we can have him display it. Oh yeah. Okay. And also, if any of you are interested in coming on board with the CHASEN, our board, and would like to be a participant and work with us, let me know. We're going to have some positions to fill. One will be secretary. Anyway, we won't go any more than that. So we'll have a drawing, and if you want to come on up, and what do we have there? What are you giving out today? 25. Okay.
Alrighty, don't forget.
Should we start with the big things first?
Sure.
Okay, so $50 Green Acres.
I'm so happy nobody sang the Green Acre song to me. God, I hate that song.
I know, right? Now you have to do that.
I know.
Okay.
Get those glasses.
I know, right? Last four digits, 8224.
Yes!
Okay. Should we do the other one?
Yes.
Okay, sir. Okay, last four, 8207.
All right.
Okay, now we have a $25 Leatherby's gift card. Last four digits, 8202.
Right here. Sweet.
I think it's 25. I'm sorry, I honestly don't know exactly how much it is. Okay. For the CHASEN door prize, okay, 8199. No.
To left.
Okay, let's do it again. Oh, cute. 8203. Okay, now we just have two little seed packets.
Hey.
They're lovely.
Yeah. You're gonna be the first person on your block to have California native wildflower.
So some blue-eyed grass, that is so cute.
you ever check out our YouTube channel or our podcast? It's really spectacular. They have like 5 acres of just the grass when it's in bloom.
Okay, 8200. No? No? Okay, do it again.
Another mirror. Near miss.
8215. Oh, for Pete's sake. Could you do better?
Sure. She wanted it. Let's give it to her. You wanted it, right?
No, I have 1-8.
Oh,
Not
okay.
1-5.
No, I was just gonna say, if you wanted it, you could take it.
You gonna take it off my raffle?
Yeah, I know, I'm sorry.
8221. 8221? 8221.
Nobody wants California.
Nobody wants these things. Here. Okay. 8205.
Sweet.
Okay, we have one more. It is California Goldfields. Oh, these are so cute. They kind of look like daisies, sort of. 8197.
All right. Yeah.
How do we find your podcast?
I actually can bring some cards in. You can Google 3 Acres Garden Podcast. Or if you have a podcast player on your phone, or like you have an iPhone or Android. Okay, you can,